Hello and welcome to this first lecture for the heartdiaries.com website. My name is Jake and I'm going to be the one giving these lectures. I thought with this first lecture we'd give a little bit of information about what the heart is and why we have one and why is it useful. So we're going to start off with why. Why do we have one? The main reason we have one is for blood flow. That's moving blood around the body. The blood will reach all the different cells in the body, and the main thing that's carried in the blood is the oxygen and certain other things like nutrients. This helps feed cells, and the thing that's carried away in the blood is the things like waste, like the CO2 or the carbon dioxide. So if we start off by drawing a cell and having a quick look at what a cell looks like, there's a little cell here and there's a little nucleus. The cell will start to make certain things that are like byproducts or CO2 that will be excreted from the cell through the cell membrane. And if there's no blood flow in the body, then these byproducts will accumulate around the cell, and it means the cell will be unhappy because it's in an unfavorable environment. This also means if there's no blood flow that it's not getting oxygen. It's getting bombarded by all the CO2, and that means it's not happy. So if we put in a blood vessel here, and we'll just switch colors, and we add a bit of flow to the blood vessel. Now the bits of CO2 and the byproducts, they can be carried away. They can diffuse into the capillaries, where the blood flow happens, and they can flow away. So now they'll no longer be accumulated around the cell. That then turns the unhappy cell into a happy cell. Oops, sorry about that. There we go. It makes a happy cell. There we go. Then we would also get things with that blood flow like oxygen and nutrients coming to the cell which it can use. So if we look at what the jobs of the hearts are, the first job is to act as a pump. And that pump flow we've just discussed is for systemic flow, so giving blood flow to the entire system. That's systemic. The heart all has another part to it, which is pulmonary. It's called pulmonary. And what this is it's the blood flow that goes from the heart to the lungs. This is where the exchange of carbon dioxide to oxygen will happen, and that's a separate system to the systemic system. The reason this needs to happen is because if we allow the CO2 to accumulate, so the blood flow is happening, the CO2 is escaping from the cells and it accumulates in the blood, it will eventually again become unhappy because it will be accumulated with all this unwanted byproducts. So what we need to do is remove the carbon dioxide and put oxygen into the heart, which is the job of the lungs. And I'm going to quickly move over here to show you a little drawing we made earlier. So this can give an idea of why the lungs and the heart are connected. So if we think of something like an amoeba, amoeba has a very small volume, so oxygen and carbon dioxide can diffuse through the cell membrane quite easily. Therefore, it doesn't need to have lungs because it has no need to circulate oxygen around it. But if we scale it up, and now we look at the elephant, now the elephant is a lot larger than the amoeba, and there are a lot more cells to feed there, so it can't act through diffusion, and it's going to need some other system or some other way to add the oxygen and pump it around the body, and then removing the carbon dioxide. And the larger something is, the harder it is to get oxygen in, and that's the inverse square law that we're going to talk about now. So if this is the center of the elephant, or the center of the amoeba even, there's only one layer for the oxygen and the carbon dioxide to pass through, and that's the easy diffusion. But if we were to talk about the elephant, there's now all these layers that we need to go through just to get to the center. And that's not true just for the oxygen coming in, it's also true for the carbon dioxide coming out, which is a lot harder. So that is why we need the heart and the lungs to pump oxygen around the body. So that's basically why we need a heart. If you also look on the heart, these sections in blue, blood returns to the heart, which is deprived of oxygen or oxygen low, through the veins. So at the top here we have the superior vena cava, or the two main veins it uses is the superior vena cava, which is the top one, and oops, sorry, that was wrong. Get rid of that. There we go, get rid of that. And the bottom one is the inferior vena cava. Inferior vena cava. Now, the superior vena cava will collect deoxygenated blood from, say, the head and the arms and the upper torso, and the inferior will collect blood from the legs and the feet and the tummy area and places like that, and they will meet in the heart. They'll be then pumped through the heart, and they will come out here and here to go to the left and the right lung. It's at the lungs where this deoxygenated blood will become saturated with oxygen, and the CO2 will be taken out of the blood, and then it will return to the heart through these vessels, and then it will be oxygen high blood coming back to the heart. It will then be pumped again through the heart and pushed to the rest of the body through the aorta, which is the aorta is the biggest artery in the body, and it's the one that comes out the heart and then splits off to the rest of the body. We'll also notice that on the heart there are these other vessels in the red and the blue, and these are called the coronary vessels. Let me just write that, coronary vessels. And these act the same way as the vessels around your body would act. So the red ones are the arteries. They bring the high oxygen blood to the heart cells. So the heart is essentially, again, made up of cells that require the same thing. They need the oxygen and the nutrients, and they make carbon dioxide, and they need to release that carbon dioxide. So the high oxygen rich blood comes to them through the red vessels there. And then the coronary veins will be the ones that take the low oxygen blood away from the heart, and that's basically the overview of the heart. So thanks for that, guys, and I'll see you in the next video.